Hey everyone, it's your girl Emma. Thanks so much for tuning in to the African Diaspora News Channel. Today we're going to talk about a brother who worked for the public sector and was passed over time and time again for promotions. And having a discussion with some of his coworkers, he discovers something interesting. And we're going to follow his journey to see what happens when he decides to speak up, speak out, and stand up for himself. I'm going to roll the clip and then we'll talk about it.
I want to tell you an example of racism that I experienced in the workplace. I'm sharing this because people often say that racism doesn't happen anymore because we've grown as a society. And I used to be one of those people. I didn't believe things like this happened until I started working for the province of Ontario. So here's the first time I've noticed that something might be up in that office. I've been there for about a year, and I was trying to get promoted to a caseworker position. I was a clerk, and I was trying to get promoted. I was interviewing, I was studying, I was practicing, and I got passed over 3 times. The first time I got passed over by someone with less experience than me in the real world, but she'd been at the office longer. And she had also babysat for one of the managers. She was a good person. I thought she deserved it. I let it go. Like, good, my time will come. Everyone told me, wait, be patient. It'll be your turn soon. The next time I got passed over for promotion, oh, I forgot to mention, the person that got the job wasn't interviewing for the job. I had interviewed 3 times. She had not interviewed once, and she still got it over me. But I let that go. The second time was a friend of mine. When he got promoted, his work experience was similar to mine. He had less seniority than me, but his work experience was similar. He had been interviewing, and his brother was a caseworker. He got the position. The third time was a white woman with less real world experience than me, way less seniority, had not interviewed, but her mother worked in that building. So at this point, I started talking with my colleagues saying, why do I keep getting passed over for promotion? And I was sitting with 3 of my there was 3 of us, me and 2 other coworkers. We were all sitting thinking, why do we keep getting passed over for promotion? All of them had expressed interest. All of them had been there longer than me. And all of them getting passed over for promotion. And then after about 20 minutes of talking, I looked at all 3 of us and my face, I just went numb. Like, are you kidding me? All 3 of us are Black. I went to leadership with that and said, it looks bad. They refused to meet with me for about a month and a half. And then when they finally met with me, they said, congratulations, we've made all 3 of you caseworkers. Isn't the problem solved? And I said, no, you've just made it way worse than you ever possibly could, because you've shown that you had the power to do it all along and you chose not to. And that's a problem. I was fired by the Ford government for speaking out about anti-Black racism. The first thing that anyone says whenever I tell them what happened is, get a lawyer. And I need to tell you, please stop saying that. It's not helpful. Getting a lawyer is the next step in systematic oppression. Systematic oppression is a game. There are rules and there are strategies. The employer has a strategy for when I get a lawyer. They do not have a strategy for what I'm doing now. The reality is, if I get a lawyer, the story will disappear. And then the same thing is going to happen to another Black person. I work for the province of Ontario. I'm supposed to be protected by OPSU. It's a powerful union. I'm asking for people to raise their voice. And honestly, that's all I need from you. I need you, the person that's watching this video, to do one real thing in the real world, just one thing. And that's just share my story. The more people that see this, the more shame gets put on the employer. Because unfortunately, the optics suggest certain people don't really care about Black people. But what they do care about is public scrutiny.
Please forward this to anyone you know who is black and working for the province of Ontario. Please, it's not safe there. I wish someone had told me. I thought it would be safe to speak up. It wasn't. So just to report you missed that I did put the house up for sale last night. This place has been my home for the last 15 years. It's fully paid for, but I can't afford it anymore. Because they fired me for speaking out about anti-black racism. I was in a government unionized job. It's supposed to be the most secure thing. This is the most secure place you can work. Work for the government, work for a union. It's supposed to be secure. I thought I would be safe. But I spoke out about racism, and I got fired. No progressive discipline, straight determination. Now I've lost my house. Can't afford a new one because I don't have a job. It is 2023. It should be safe in the province of Ontario for someone as light-skinned. It should be safe in the province of Ontario for anyone to speak up and say, hey, it looks like I'm dealing with racism. But no. So if you work for the province of Ontario, my advice, get out, run. Don't speak up, just leave. Because it's not safe.
So ultimately, he lost his job for speaking up against racism in the workplace because he was being passed over. Even though he eventually got a promotion, we all know it was more about optics than anything else. Had he not said anything, he probably wouldn't have gotten the job. And then ultimately, he lost his job. And this is what happens sometimes when you do decide to speak up, which is why there are a lot of Black people that will stay quiet because it's more important to them to get food on the table than to lose their job for speaking up. So a lot of people just become complacent and will sit in that position for years and years and years. This brother was very vocal, and as a result, he lost his job. And then he also lost his house. One of the things that was very interesting that he said is, he said, a light-skinned man. Brother, it doesn't matter what color you are, whatever shade of melanin, you're Black. As long as you are a shade of melanin, you are Black. So light skin, dark skin, brown skin, you're a Black man, you're a Black woman, and that's how you are identified. Unfortunately, this is what he discovered in speaking up. And not getting a lawyer, he chose not to do that because he felt as though by getting a lawyer, you're working for the government, you're working for the Ford government, which is, they are former premiers of Toronto. They definitely lawyer up and ensure that they are covered legally. Now, as far as getting terminated, there are oftentimes what companies will do is they will give the employee an obscene amount of money so that they stay quiet. I'm not sure whether or not he got a sizable package. However, probably not, seeing as he ultimately lost his home and had no job. I did actually reach out to this gentleman and would love to talk to him more. I hope that he responds because we'd love to know what his situation is, where he's at now, if he was able to ultimately get a job, and if he's doing okay. I really feel for this brother, and you know, anybody else out there that's going through this, please share. Let's expose these people. Let's start getting what is rightfully ours. I really look forward to what you guys all think. Let me know, drop something in the comments, and until next time, peace be. Thanks so much for tuning in.